Welcome to Season 5 of Automation Ladies. It's just me, Nikki, today. This will be a short little preview episode. I just wanted to sign on and say hi and let you guys know what's coming down the line. There's a lot of new things going on this year, and thank you for your patience as we took a break. We have some big announcements this year, and we've got a lot of things that we're working on, as usual. So I wanted to kick off Season 5 and share with you guys where you can find us, what's coming, and what we're up to. So number one, I started a new job at the beginning of this year as Business Development Director with Weintek USA. Weintek, or Weintek as you may know it. That's what I thought it was until I joined their team. But they were based up in Seattle. And I flew out there last fall when I was also visiting Allie and working with PCE. And they just really impressed me, both with their product line. They manufacture HMIs and remote I/O, and they've been doing so for 30 years. And their team. I mean, it has to be primarily their team is the reason I decided to join. You guys know I care about team culture and working for something that matters. And I wanted something that was a good fit for me for my next step, for my next sort of season. As you all know, I had been working with QuoteBeam for about 3.5 years. It's a startup. We had to pivot a few times, and I really just worked myself into the ground. And I loved working with them. I loved working with that team, but there was a lot of changes happening. QuoteBeam now focuses on e-commerce for distributors specifically. And there was just this natural kind of point where I either had to change what I was doing, change the job, or it ultimately made the most sense for us to part ways. I had originally told Roman when I joined that they would probably have about 3 years in me before I might be itching to do something else. And so we made it 3.5, and I think we did some really incredible things together. But it was time for me to do something different and to try to have a little bit more time with my family, as well as Automation Ladies obviously is growing. It's becoming a bigger part of my workday. And there's a lot of things that, we want to do and accomplish. And so it was time to do something else. And Weintek, they really impressed me with what they want to do, how they work. They've got some really great applications engineering folks up in Seattle creating actual technical content and putting it on YouTube. They're not afraid to make some, content and put it on their YouTube channel of me going to trade shows or events or seeing our HMIs in action. And I also went and scoured the internet for every possible thing I could find that anybody had to say about their products, because I wanted to be really careful to not just join a company that everybody, talks up their own product, right? And you're selling something. And I went out and found reviews on Reddit and PLC forums and LinkedIn dating back, 10 years. And I just found that people had incredible things to say about this company and these HMIs and how we have an installed base of, thousands of them out there that have been around for 10, 15 years in the field. And I'm really excited about this. I feel like it's a product line and a technology that doesn't have a whole lot of visibility maybe. And, outside of, we have thousands of customers, mostly OEMs, that are building their machines and shipping them with Weintek HMIs. But I found that, sort of the broader ecosystem in my community doesn't necessarily know everything about them and what they have to offer and how cool their offering is, including completely free development software called Easy Builder Pro, which we actually did a live demo on Automation Ladies on LinkedIn a couple of weeks ago of the software, because it's incredibly powerful and it's free for anybody that wants to download it. Whether you're trying to learn, want to get into HMI programming and design, or you're a student, or you're, an engineer or technician that's been using some of these bigger closed ecosystem HMIs for a long time, you have the opportunity to develop on Easy Builder Pro for free without having to buy anything, which, as you guys know, is kind of one of those things that I love to see in the industry. I feel like we have a lot of gatekeeping, and there are a lot of thresholds and hoops to jump through to get to the education, training, product, trying out new things, right? And that's one of the barriers that we want to bring down in the industry in general, including what we're doing with OT SCADA CON. So I just found a place where it was really aligned with me, where they're very, very supportive of the show and what we're doing. And so I highly encourage you to, if you're on LinkedIn, follow Weintek USA. It's spelled Weintek, Weintek or Weintek. And you'll see some of my content coming out of there, as well as get to kind of follow along what we're working on and what we're doing. And Allie as well has some huge changes. If you follow us on LinkedIn, you would have seen her move to Texas. She's now my across the street neighbor. And we're going to be having an episode. So the next episode that comes out, the first full real episode of Automation Lady Season 5 is going to be me and Allie and hopefully Courtney. I will ask them a little bit about what they've been up to since we last talked so that you guys can get those updates. And then we'll continue with kind of our regularly scheduled format of interviews with people in the industry whose stories that we want to hear. In case you didn't know how we select guests, the people that come on to Automation Ladies, it's really just people that we come across or that we know or that we find, or maybe that we've been recommended by someone that we know who have interesting stories that we want to hear. They either have an interesting job that we don't know what it entails or we want to learn more about, or maybe they've had a really interesting journey and how they got to where they are. Or there's something unique and different about them and what they do that piques our interest and makes us want to talk to them for an hour. And we think that our community may be interested in what they have to say. So we will be bringing you more of those conversations. We have a couple of them recorded already from our last season that we didn't get a chance to get out in 2024. So we'll start with those, and then we'll be recording new material. So if you're one of those people that you think you might have an interesting story or you'd like to talk to us on the show, we'd love to have you. You can go on to automationladies.io and send us a voicemail, or you can email us at hello@automationladies.io and let us know if you're interested in coming on the show. We'd love to talk to you. Talking about the show and the future of the show, we also have a big announcement. We are joining Industry Sage Media. And that is a media company founded by Trevor Robinson, focused on creator-led, behind-the-scenes, real talk kind of conversations in the industrial automation space. We'll be joining some other great shows like Hey Jack, a brand new show with Jack Nalig, which is a leadership podcast with the recently retired former president of Phoenix Contact USA. Unplugged with Phil Saboa and Ed Fuentes. We've had Phil on the show last season. He's been a friend of ours in the industry that we've interacted with. He's from Australia. Their show is all about IoT. Also, Ira Sharp's Tomorrow's Trends, which is all about the future of automation and manufacturing. Again, sort of an industry friend that we've had for a while, another great creator out there creating content and having conversations. I believe that this is the second show of his, and we're excited to see that grow this year. And then Trevor has a show as well that's launching called Marketing Meets Media. And I just really appreciate, we've worked with a lot of media teams and marketing teams in the industry over the last couple of years as they want us to collaborate with them on marketing on our show or doing our newsletter or having us come to their trade shows and things. And there's definitely a clear difference, I think, between those that understand this kind of new landscape, that people want real conversations. They want a little bit more unfiltered content on what people have to say rather than just fully polished, and heavily produced corporate media. So we really appreciate, I think, what Trevor's trying to do here, bringing diverse voices in the industry kind of under one umbrella to make us all stronger and easier to distribute our material. And considering that, unfortunately, we lost our amazing producer, Laura, last year, who was the only reason that we actually got this show off the ground and got anything listenable out to you guys. And I just want to give a huge shout out to Laura because she took what was sometimes garbage material because we had trouble recording or we had technical difficulties or we ramble because we not really experienced podcast hosts. And she made it into something that a lot of you love and something that we love doing because we knew that we didn't have to worry about listening to ourselves. before we put that out there. So unfortunately, she got too busy with her full-time job to be able to keep up with the demands of the show, which is getting more and more popular, and we got more and more material. So at the end of last year, she had to leave us, and we were left wondering, how do we produce the show going forward? We definitely don't have a lot of extra time. I don't like AI tools. I feel like they are not quite there yet in creating, something that we really think humans want to listen to, especially when it comes to, reading summaries or content, all kinds of stuff like that. So this ended up being really great timing for us, and we're really excited to join the Industry Sage Media platform. They're going to be producing the audio podcast going forward and helping us with putting some of this material out. And that leaves us with more time to do some of the other peripheral things that Automation Ladies loves to do, like our live demos on LinkedIn, our panel discussions that we do occasionally on different topics. We'd love to do more of those. And generally, going to more shows and getting to meet more people in person, in real life. So what other things do we have coming up? Well, season 5 is about to start, so we'll have the first real episode next week with Courtney and Allie and I. And then we'll start those conversations. We have some LinkedIn Lives coming up. So in fact, later today, this is Thursday, April 3rd, today at 3 p.m. Central, we have our second live demo of the year. A couple of weeks ago, we did Easy Builder Pro. And then today, we're going to be looking at the Azerol I+ flexible feeding system. So Azerol is a company that we've also, started to meet at trade shows. They're a Swiss company that makes flexible feeding systems. They started out in the watch industry, trying to feed tiny, tiny little expensive watch parts to robots. And they've really expanded and kind of become a leader in this industry. And one of the things that they have that's really unique to them is an integrated vision system with their plate that, shakes the parts and separates them to be able to guide robots to pick up those parts. And the ladies and I made a visit up to their headquarters earlier in March, where we had a ton of fun getting to know more about them, their team, their culture, their technology, why they care about what they do. And we created some content together that you guys will see coming out this year. And I honestly, I can't say that we've had as much fun visiting anybody as we did on that trip. It was amazing. And so we saw this demo in person there. It was not for recording. It was just for them to show us what the system does and how it works. And especially with Courtney and I having a background in machine vision, it was really cool to see a sort of pre-programmed or easy to integrate vision system specifically for this application. And so when CJ was showing it to us, I just couldn't help but say, hey, we need to do this live. Our audience needs to see this. We loved seeing it. We think that you guys might love seeing it. So if you hear this and are interested in machine vision or robotics, pick and place applications, please join us on LinkedIn today at 3 p.m. Central. But we want to do more demos. I think last year we had, a handful of them here and there. And my goal this year is to have a live demo of some software or product, hardware or software in our industry that's interesting, at least a couple times a month. So if you have any suggestions, if there's something that, you've been dying to see or you'd like to see a demo of that, maybe you don't have a reason to go call their salespeople and get a demo, but you'd love to know something about it, then again, please send us an email at hello@automationladies.io, or you can send us a voice message through our website, automationladies.io, and let us know who you'd love to pitch for our live demos this year. I also have, I will be going to the AHTD spring meeting next week. And if you're unfamiliar with AHTD, it's the Association for High Tech Distribution, which is a lot of the distributors in our space that sell automation products. We actually call them within AHTD automation solutions providers, because most of them are a whole lot more than just distributors. They also provide technical expertise and project engineering in some cases, or they may do some kitting or panel building. They're, really providers of the technology as well as solutions. And I really enjoy being part of that community, having worked with them for many years now with QuoteBeam, helping them get their business online and to be able to sell parts online as well as communicate with customers online. And now as being part of Weintek is a manufacturer that works with distributors. We sell through distribution. So I'm really happy to be able to continue to be part of AHTD now as a manufacturer member. And I also just joined the programming committee. So now going forward, I will be part of the committee that selects what speakers and what sort of programming we will have at the AHTD meetings, which happen a couple of times a year. And so I'm really excited for that. They also have a really great women in automation sort of chapter within AHTD, which we have meetups at the meetings as well as Zoom meetings throughout the year. And I've also been part of a great program there called a marketing roundtable, where members from AHTD companies, both distributors and manufacturers, and in some cases business solutions providers, get together for an informal meeting where we get to share tips and tricks and best practices and ask each other questions. And I really love this kind of, different areas of knowledge sharing. I highly encourage you, if you're not part of some sort of association or some sort of group, formal or informal, that has to do with what you do, it can be a great way to expand your network in the industry, especially sort of outside of trade show season and conferences and all of that, and get a chance to meet with and, sharpen your blade, so to speak, in what you do with other professionals that are doing the same thing in our industry. So I'm going to be doing a live recap episode next Friday at 2 p.m. Central, I believe. And I'm not sure entirely who I'm going to be talking to. We scheduled that with a couple of surprise guests. So what I'll do is during the meeting, figure out what it is that I think is most worthwhile sharing with everybody. And I'll grab a couple people from the meeting and have them come on and tell you guys what's up. So that's going to be our live for next week. It'll be at a different time than normal on Friday. But I would love for you guys to catch that if you're interested, or if you're in that space, especially working with distributors, or if you work for a manufacturer in the space. Those meetings are always great, and I always get some sort of good insight there. Another thing, where to find us in real life. So I don't know if you know this, but we don't just like to talk at people through the podcast. We love to meet people that listen. We love to meet the community. And if you've ever met me at a trade show and I've been engrossed in conversation with someone and haven't, either brushed you off or didn't realize that you were waiting to talk to me, I am so sorry. I would love to talk to everyone, especially if you listen to the show. I want to meet you. I want to know who you are. I want to hear your story and why you like, listening. And so I just want to, I've had a couple, this may have only happened once or twice, but the fact that it has happened bothers me. And I just want to say this. If you ever feel like I brush you off in public, please know that it's not my intention. We sometimes get bombarded with a lot of things, and sometimes we have back-to-back interviews at these shows. And I have ADHD, so I also have a hard time sometimes paying attention to things outside of my immediate sort of zone of conversation. So if that ever happens, please just send me a DM or something and be like, hey, I saw you there and you were being a butthead. And I will make sure to make it up to you. But otherwise, please come find us. If you're at any of these events and you want to, meet us, you want to tell us anything, give us some feedback about the show, or just network with us. That's one of the big reasons why we try to have these conversations. And a big part of how we've built our careers is getting to know great people, right? Great opportunities can come from knowing great people, whether that's jobs, contracts, who knows. So please come find us. Here's a few places where you can find us over the next few weeks. I'm going to be at the AHTD Spring Meeting. It's in Atlanta next week. Then Allie and I are going to be attending the Specialty Coffee Expo happening in Houston, Texas, April 25th through the 27th. It's a Friday through Sunday, so I think we'll probably be there on Friday. I already know a couple people have mentioned that we've met at Automation Fair and elsewhere that they'll be at this show, so I'm pretty excited. If you don't know, Allie has a history. She worked for Probat, which is one of the OEMs of coffee roasting equipment in the past, and she's got a lot of contacts in the coffee roasting industry. And then I'm really stoked to go see Dietrich Roasters, who is one of Weintek's big customers in the coffee roasting industry. There's a couple of really cool YouTube videos that we've taken of their machines from a past show where they have really great animations, models of how their machines work on the HMI, work instructions, schematics. They've got bombs of spare parts on the HMI. I mean, all kinds of stuff. And I saw a cool demo with Alexa as well, where they hooked Alexa up to the HMI to be able to control the machine, to be able to do things like open and close and start and stop. And so I'm really stoked to see what they've got, going on this year, if they've updated or upgraded any of the HMIs or the interfaces on their machines, and then just show you guys a little bit of a glimpse into the cool world of coffee roasting, which, as you've listened to the show, if you know us, we do love coffee. I love coffee. I drink a lot of coffee in a lot of different ways, and it's really fun to know when you drink some coffee to be like, hey, yeah, I know Allie worked on that roaster. So if you're ever drinking Pete's coffee, for instance, you're probably drinking the product of Allie's control systems excellence. Other things, let's see. There's a robotics summit coming up in Boston in the beginning of May, and Courtney's going to be there on our behalf. So if you're going to be up there in Boston, I know Megan Zimba is also going to be there. You should check them out. Go find them. Send Courtney a DM. And then one of the biggest things we have going on this year, as we do every year, is Automate. It's in Detroit again this year, May 12th through the 15th. And all of us ladies are going to be there. We're going to be doing Automate Live again. We'll be doing some interviews with people in the industry. Maybe some recap stuff at the end of the week. And Weintek also has a booth. So I'm going to be in Weintek's booth, I would say most of the time when I'm not scheduled to be other places or doing other things. You can come find us. We are going to have a booth right next to Arduino, who is our partner in STEM education. So we're going to be unveiling a new STEM curriculum with Arduino PLCs and Weintek HMIs. And then one of our friends who we've had some people from the show before on from Gray Solutions, their booth is also kind of right in that same row. So I think you'll find a good reason to come visit our neck of the woods at Automate. Come see some cool demos, meet with us. And if you're lucky, you'll also get to meet Spot if Sam Janes is going to be there. By the way, huge shout out to Sam for being our music guy. The music for the show has and will always be produced by our industry friends. And so there's that. And then, of course, OT SCADA CON. If you didn't know, we produced our own community conference. We did this last year. It was a trial by fire. Let's try to figure out how to make a conference and make it work. Allie came up with 23 topics within OT that fall under SCADA. So I know it maybe sounds a little bit like it's a SCADA focused conference or an Industry 4.0 conference. It is not. In fact, we may go so far as to call it an Industry 3.0 conference because we really are not that focused on, the factory of the future and what people should be doing as a best practice. Rather, all of our topics are very much rooted in the now and what's going on out in the field. Most of our presenters are small independent SIs that work with this stuff on a day-to-day basis. But the idea is really for just people in the industry, in our community, to be able to come together, learn from each other, and then network with each other. And when I say network, yes, every conference has networking. You can go to a reception or you can talk to people on the floor. You can try to make connections. OT SCADA CON is different for a reason. We really want everyone that comes to leave with a very powerful network of people with resources for anything that you could imagine that you would need in your career in controls or automation. So it is a 3-day conference this year, starting with kind of a half day the first day and then going on until Friday afternoon. And we have everybody in the same room the entire time. We have raffles, so where we give away free technology from our sponsors. We have breakfast, lunch, and dinner included every day where everybody hangs out, including after-hours activities that are not exclusive to some sort of party. If you got invited by a vendor, it's for everybody. And so we organize fun dinner. We organize a happy hour and a karaoke night. and you're not required to sing karaoke, but you really should come and listen to the rest of us embarrass ourselves up on stage for your benefit. We found that it's A, really fun, and B, it's kind of a really great team building exercise for everybody. And it makes it a lot easier to make friends and make connections and walk away with not just business cards, but people that you can really connect with and maybe collaborate with, work together on projects, or have somebody, beta test your application or your new technology. So I highly encourage you guys to check out OT SCADA CON if you haven't yet. The website is www.otscada.com. Again, that's www.otscada.com. Tickets are on sale now. They just went up in price starting April 1st, but they will go up in price again in May. So if you're considering attending, please try to get your tickets now. We are also most likely going to sell out. We sold out last year. We had 50 seats. This year we have 100 seats, and we are about 70% sold out. So please consider trying to attend OT SCADA CON if you feel like you have some connection to this community. You like what we're about. We like how we work. I will also pretty much guarantee it'll be the most diverse automation conference that you've ever been to. There are people from all ages, all walks of life, some international attendees as well. We're from all over the country, and I think you'll have a lot of fun. So with that said, I think that's about it in terms of just this little check-in episode. I appreciate your patience with me, and we really look forward to engaging with you this year. Thank you so much for being part of our community and for listening to our show. Again, we'd love your rating or your feedback on Apple or Spotify or wherever you listen to podcasts. Although, as you may know, we make this content, so that we can have conversations that we want to. We hope that the listeners enjoy it, but ultimately that's not why we do it. So we don't have a bunch of fake reviews out there or trying to drive traffic. This has been completely organic, and it's been something that we've loved doing and we want to continue doing with your support. And again, we really appreciate you listening. So follow us on LinkedIn, subscribe to the podcast wherever you listen to podcasts. And then you should expect our audio podcast to be coming out with video now on YouTube as well for this next season. So it will no longer be just audio. You can also watch on YouTube and see the full-length videos. And we also expect to be getting more snippets and social media content out of the episodes going forward with the help of Industry Stage Media. So we look forward to getting that out there to you guys. And please, share it, like it, give us feedback, good or bad. We want to hear it. If there's anything, again, if you have a message for us, or if there's anything you'd love to hear on the show this year, any demos that you want to see on LinkedIn, please send us a voicemail on our website. Find us on LinkedIn and send us a message, or you can email us at hello@automationladies.io. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.